Hey, good morning, guys. This is Avery Looper here at M2C Racing. We got some interesting stuff going on today. Figured I'd let you guys in on it for a little bit more of how do they do that. So what we got going on is Marty is over here checking every single shock cap in this bag. That's how many he's done. These are the ones he's working on. And what we're doing is the S-Series shock caps. I had a few guys talk about how they hadn't been fitting the new shock bodies, the colored shock bodies. So my buddy Kenny over at Do RC sent me one of the oversized shock bodies because we don't know what we're ordering, if we're ordering the newer style or the older style. But Kenny sent me one that my shock caps do not fit on. And what we did is, before we figured out exactly what was going on, we started checking every single part in the house, because that's how we do it here at M2C. We want to make sure the part that you're getting is the one you need. So Kenny sends me an oversized shock body, and now really ain't necessary to check them 100%, but we're there, so we might as well keep on going. So what we're going to do is we're over here on the horizontal with Luis, and he is screwing the oversized shock body into the shock cap that we're making.
About a quarter of a turn.
He's at about a quarter of a turn right now. What'd you say? You're at -5? Now what we're doing here, you see this column here, see this is how long the tool is from machine 0 to a specified point that we use. This is the diameter of the tool. What we're telling this is that we're telling that the tool is -0.015, and this is in thousandths because we're in the United States. We're at -0.015, and we're only at a quarter of a turn. So let's, what are you gonna go? What does it feel like?
I feel like it needs to go another 10 thou. Worst comes to worst, I just back it off and scratch this part out. But I think that should be just about right.
And just so you guys know, you're not machinists, so just so you guys know, on a thread, that is freaking huge. We make adjustments in 1/1000ths to dollar thread in. Now you see this, we hadn't done a video on this one yet. And this is a thread mill. This is like an end mill, but it's got the profile of the thread on it. So he's gonna back out. Now we're gonna check it. Let's see where it is. That's a big jump on a thread. Let's see what. All right, fellas. So we had a new part. Now we're at -20. So Luis is checking how it feels. Looking tight.
Yeah.
Looking tight. So he was pretty close. He was pretty close at 25. So what do you think? 2?
About 2 would do it. Just right.
All right, we're gonna run it again. We'll come back. All right, guys. So while the machine's running, I wanted to explain to you guys exactly what's going on here. This happens a lot in machining when the engineers don't account for anodizing in a thread. All right. I know you probably can't see this, but a thread has a peak and a valley. All right. Kind of representative of this right here on a thread gauge. Is that in focus?
Yeah.
All right. That's a big thread. Okay. You have peaks and valleys. All right. So when you say you put 2/10 of anodize on a part, all right, that means in a thread you're putting 2/10 on this side, 2/10 on this side, and on the next thread down, which is the valley, you're putting 2/10 on that side, and the thread in front of it, you got 2/10 on that side. So what happens is you got 2/10 on each side of that thread on both sides of the part. So it ends up being quite a buildup. And all it takes is an operator, like probably what happened here, some poor guy over in China. He ran these threads at the top of the tolerance. And then some poor guy in China who anodized all these parts, he anodized them at the top of the tolerance. So maybe he's got 2.5 or 3/10 anodized, because we ended up being at like about 15 to 20 on our tool diameter. Now we are programmed a little bit undersized so that we can dial it in on every run, but it usually ends up around 10 to 15 on the compensation for the tool diameter. I know that's probably a lot to kind of wrap your head around if you're not a machinist. Just trying to give you the best explanation I can of what's going on. So we got the operator of the machining center. He ran the thread at the top of the tolerance. Now we got the anodized guy. They ran all these threads at the top of the tolerance. So that's why we're having to adjust here, and we're going to be making shock caps for people who have the newer colored shocks. And we'll get those out, and we're going to get them tested on another set. I'm going to next day air them to another guy who's got some oversized shock bodies, and M2C is going to bring it to you and make it fit. We just finished making the part. We got her dialed in. She's coming around the mountain right now. Oh yeah, she's looking good. Oh, it's gonna break off. This is what we do, we break them off and then machine them. Hold the camera, Marty. I just blew that stuff all over my face. Oh yeah, just right now. All right, so we're out here on Op 2. We do this on this old school lathe. This is a Favor, and this thing is, I don't know, probably mid-90s, early 2000s. But here's how we get that domed look on top of that shock cap. That was close. I turned my head and closed my eyes. Looks good. Oh yeah.